This is the story of Cosmo, a tiny clay gardener who lived inside a big house made of twigs and leaves. Now Cosmo loved living in his little twig and leaf house. It was cozy and warm, and had a little porch where he could sit and enjoy the scenery. But there was one thing that would make Cosmo's day so much better, and that was a plant to tend to. Every day, when Cosmo woke up, he would walk down the garden path and check his flower pot, hoping that maybe overnight it would sprout something green and beautiful. But every day it remained empty. So Cosmo would sit down on the porch, pull out his little watering can, and water his flower pot just in case. Then he would wait patiently for hours, but no plant ever grew. One day while watering his pot, Cosmo made a wish, "I wish I had a plant," he sighed, and right at that moment, the soil in the flower pot trembled. "What's happening?" thought Cosmo. The soil shook more and more violently, until suddenly, pop, a little clay plant creature came shooting out of the flower pot. "Ha-ha, got you," said the plant. Then it started chasing Cosmo all around the garden. "Wait, what just happened?" asked Cosmo. The plant just kept laughing and chasing him until it bumped into his house. "Oof," it said, rubbing its head. "I'm so sorry," said Cosmo. "It's okay," said the plant. "It's actually kind of fun to chase you." Cosmo wasn't so sure if it was fun or not, but he knew one thing: this plant was full of energy. And while Cosmo appreciated the company, he also wanted to have a plant that he could tend to. "MD, you mind if I put you in my flower pot?" he asked. "Sure," said the plant. And so Cosmo scooped up the plant and put it into his flower pot. Then he covered it with soil and gave it a little pat. "Now let's see how well I can take care of you," he said. The next day, Cosmo came out to water his flower pot, but he couldn't believe his eyes. The plant had grown so big overnight that it was blocking the entire garden path. And then from the top of the plant, the little face of the plant creature peeked out and said, "Good morning." "Wow, you really grew a lot," said Cosmo. "Yeah," said the plant. "I guess I'm a pretty fast grower." Then it leaned over the edge of the pot and said, "But I'm thirsty." Cosmo grabbed his watering can and took it over to the plant. But before he could water it, the plant swished its vines around and knocked over his little stool. "Oh, I'm so sorry," said the plant. But Cosmo wasn't really mad. He knew that the plant didn't mean to knock over his stool. "It's okay," he said. "Let me just get my watering can." Then he watered the plant until it stopped drooping. "Thanks," said the plant. "Now let's see how strong I can grow." And indeed, that night the plant grew even taller, so tall that its top was touching the roof of Cosmo's house. "That's amazing," said Cosmo, but then the plant started to shake again, and its leaves fell into Cosmo's house. "Uh-oh," said Cosmo. "I hope it doesn't break anything." One leaf landed right on his hat, and then another one wrapped around his teapot until it tipped over and spilled hot water all over the floor. "I'm so sorry," said the plant. "It's okay," said Cosmo, even though his house was ruined. He didn't want the plant to feel bad, so he said, "How about we go outside and I'll show you how well I can take care of you." And so they went outside, and Cosmo replanted the growing plant into a bigger pot. Then he set it on the ground and gave it a good amount of water. "Now let's see how big you can get," he said. That night, the plant grew so big that it reached all the way up to the sky. Cosmo walked up to it and looked up. "Wow, you're so beautiful," he said, but then the plant started shaking again. And as Cosmo was looking up, he didn't see that a branch was falling right on him. "Oof," he said. The plant saw that it had hurt Cosmo and felt terrible. So it lowered its branch and asked, "Are you all right?" "Yeah, I'm fine," said Cosmo, even though his arm really hurt. He didn't want the plant to feel bad, so he said, "Can you help me up?" "Sure," said the plant. And it helped Cosmo stand back up. "Thanks," said Cosmo. "I'm sorry I hurt you," said the plant. "It's okay," said Cosmo. "You don't have to feel bad. It was my fault I was looking up so long that I didn't see it coming." Just then, Cosmo noticed that the plant's leaves were wilting. "Oh no," he said. "It looks like you need some water." So he grabbed his watering can and watered the plant. "Thanks," said the plant. And from that day on, Cosmo and the plant became best friends. Every day Cosmo would come out and water the plant, and the plant would use its branches to play with Cosmo. They would play until the sun went down, and then Cosmo would say, "Good night, plant," and the plant would say, "Good night, Cosmo." One day, Cosmo came out to water his plant, and it had been so long since he checked on it that he could unbelieve how big it had grown. Its leaves reached all the way up to the sky, and its roots spread out as far as the garden. "Wow," he said. "You really are a fast grower." And then Cosmo noticed something else. The plant had blossomed, and not just with any flowers, but with bright pink, yellow, and blue ones that smelled absolutely wonderful. "You bloomed," said Cosmo. "Yeah," said the plant. "I guess I did." It had never bloomed before, because it had never grown anywhere where there was enough space for it to flourish. But here, with Cosmo's care, it had grown bigger and stronger than it ever had before. As Cosmo stood there admiring the flowers, one of them fell off and landed on his head. "Oh, wow," he said. "I think that means you're happy with how I've been taking care of you," he said. "Yes," said the plant. "I am really happy." And that made Cosmo so happy that he started to dance around the plant. They danced until the flowers started to wilt, and then Cosmo sat down beside the plant and said, "Thank you for being my friend." "You're welcome," said the plant. "I'm glad you're my friend too." They sat there for a while, just enjoying each other's company. Then Cosmo said, "Well, I should probably get going." So he gave the plant one last water and one last hug, and went back to his house. As he was walking away, he heard the plant say, "Hey, Cosmo," and it said, "I'm so glad I met you." Cosmo smiled and said, "Me too." Then he went home and fell fast asleep. When he woke up the next morning, Cosmo couldn't believe his eyes. The flowers had bloomed even more and were now all different shapes and sizes. There were big ones and small ones, round ones and long ones. They were all colors, too, not just pink, yellow and blue, but purple, orange, red and green, too. And they smelled so sweet the bees and butterflies were already buzzing around them. "It's so beautiful," whispered Cosmo. And he knew that it was all because of his friendship with the most energetic clay plant in the world. The end.